So good morning. Great to have you guys that are joining me virtually. If you're here in San Antonio, if you look outside, you know that you're experiencing the same weather as me, a little drizzly and overcast. Wherever you are in the world, just glad that you have chosen to join me on this Sunday morning. And let me bring this kind of rainy morning, and again, if you are just joining in, I've already said bringing out the sunshine, so that's our intention. And the first spark of that sunshine starts with the inspiration that brought you here. So thank you all for being here, for making this a part of your Sunday. I really do commend the effort, and I really appreciate the connection that we're making, even though we may not be together. I'm really appreciative that you guys have made this a part of your day. So before we begin, just a few words about this experience and where we're at. As I mentioned last week, we are taking the opportunity during this virtual series to take our class outside of the realm of our typical Confluence Park location, and we're taking it along to these different art portals along the San Antonio River. They're all also commissioned by the San Antonio River Foundation, who is our generous sponsor. So they're the ones that fund these experiences, both in person when we're able to meet and now online, each and every Sunday at 10 a.m. It's been such a great experience working with them for the last 3 years at Confluence Park to bring so many people together. So I'm really grateful to not only continue to bring people together, but also to bring some awareness to some of these other amazing locations that we have in our city. This particular location is called the River Return, and it's by an artist named Stacey Levy. She's an environmental artist, and this particular space, when she speaks of it, she says she likes to create art as a verb instead of a noun, so that it's more of an experience. And if you can't quite see it from where you're at, what we're looking at is a bunch of experience of trying to bring the idea of water here into the land. So lots of swirling shapes, lots of that fluid movement that we'll definitely be finding this morning, again, while we find that fire and create a little bit of our own sunshine. So again, thank you for joining me. Thank you so much to the San Antonio River Foundation for sponsoring this class. Let's begin. I'm going to kick off my shoes, and we're going to start sitting on our mats. So find your way wherever you're at into a nice, comfortable seat. We're going to begin before we get into our movements by just connecting and arriving here on our mats and our bodies. So start by maybe shifting around a little bit in your seat, perhaps moving some of your blessings away, getting nice and grounded here. And then you're going to take your right hand and bring it down into the base of your belly, right below the belly button. And you're going to take that left hand and bring it right into the center of your chest, right at the center of the heart space. And then let the shoulders roll back and down. Feel yourself really grounded into a nice stable base, but also starting to lift up through the crown of your head. And then if you haven't already, invite your eyes to close. Begin to tune into your breath. Using your palms as a grounding place to expand into with each inhale. And each exhale, you get empty. Taking a few moments as you physically draw in to your own container here. I want you to mentally draw into what it is that gives you the dedication to be here. You know, this practice, the reason we call it a practice is we continue to show up not with the expectation to achieve perfection, But instead, we continue to practice arriving in our imperfection and embracing that in which we are as the spark, right? The place where we can find wisdom. So taking another moment here to arrive not in an expectation of yourself, but in an appreciation just for the act of being here. One more breath in through the nose. And go ahead and empty it out. And then go ahead, now release your hands and bring them onto the knees. Let the chin fall down into the chest, rolling the shoulders back and down. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, let the head get a little heavier. Begin to roll the right ear towards your right shoulder. Roll both shoulders back and settle them down the spine. Relax your jaw. Let that left shoulder really pull down away from your left ear. And then I want you to take your right hand and bring it across your chest, fingertips to the front of your left shoulder, and just gently press that left shoulder back. Continue to let the right ear get heavy towards the right shoulder. Release the back molars. Let the tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth. One more breath here. As you exhale, chin comes to the chest, right hand comes back to the knee. And then take it to the opposite side, left ear to left shoulder. Both shoulders rolling back and down, sitting up tall through the crown. Letting that left hand lift this time and bring it to the front of that right shoulder and just gently press it back, guide it back. I don't like the word press. Let's use guide. Guide it back, finding that awareness. And then taking the opportunity to pull that right shoulder a little further away from your ear. The jaw relaxes, the face relaxes. Take another breath in and out. Chin returns to the chest, hand returns to the knee. Inhale, lift the head all the way back up into center. All right, we're going to make our way into the tabletop, onto our hands and our knees. So go ahead and turn around, finding yourself with the belly down towards the ground. Wrists are going to be right underneath your shoulders, and your knees are going to be right underneath your hips. So we're going to take an inhale, let the belly drop, gaze up towards the sky. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, roll out your spine. So round out a few more times like that. Inhaling, the belly comes towards the earth, gazing up. Exhaling, chin to chest, roll it out. Inhale, last time, belly down, gazing up. Exhale, chin to chest, roll it out. Finding a neutral spine, pause here. Bring the big toes together. Knees can come wider. Sit back to the heels and find child's pose just a moment. Grounding through the forehead. Arms are reaching out in front of you. Here is an opportunity to surrender. Anything going on in your life that you've been carrying. In this moment, you can just surrender that weight, knowing that you can always pick it back up after this hour. And today, we're just going to let it go. Taking one more breath here, emptying it out. Inhale yourself all the way back up into your tabletop. Tuck your toes under this time. We're coming straight into downward facing dog. So heels towards the mat, walking the fingertips towards the front of the mat to get to whatever stance feels comfortable for you. So for me, I like to have a pretty wide stance with my feet far back, my hands far forward. Just see what might work for you and then walk out your Legs a little bit here. Bend one knee, then the opposite. And then go ahead and keep that walking motion going as you just walk your feet all the way towards the front of your mat. Inhale into halfway lift, finding a nice flat spine. As you exhale, forward fold all the way down. Finding your ragdoll, let the head dangle here. Shake your head yes and no. Perhaps the hands reach up to the elbows and you dangle down. One more time, you can take this as an opportunity to let the brain drain. Melting the crown a little further down as you decompress each vertebrae in your spine. Fingertips come down to the ground. Root down through your feet. Really get strong and grounded and rooted, just like your favorite flower, your favorite tree. And then find the strength in your legs and grow yourself up. So starting to roll up, unraveling yourself like you're growing up towards the proverbial sunshine above. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the arms up above. And then you're going to bring your hands to your heart center. And I want you to plug the palms together. Keep the pinky and thumb together and just take your middle 3 fingers apart. So this mudra is our lotus mudra. It reminds us of the lotus flower. So taking a moment to hold that lotus flower at your heart. When we think about the lotus, we're reminded that the lotus, even though it starts its existence in a state of mud and muck, it stays steadfast, growing towards the lights so that it can come above the surface as this beautiful flower. So just like us, when we're in those moments in life, that may be muddy, that mucky, that we trust so much in the light to guide us, that we, just like this lotus, can blossom. Taking your inhale, let's reach that lotus mudra up towards the sky. As you exhale, see if you can bend your elbows. Take your thumbs towards the nape of your neck. Take another inhale here as you lift up the chin, getting a nice stretch in the front side of the body. Exhale, coming all the way through center. Release the hands all the way down into forward fold. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Hands can come to the shins or maybe all the way to the thighs. Really get long through the spine. Exhale, bring the palms onto the earth. Step your feet to the back of your mat and then pause here. Take a moment. Now the hands are kind of like roots. Your feet, your toes are still like roots. And then the arms become strong. The legs become strong like your trunk. Draw the navel into the spine. Imagine there's like a fire burning below you and you're trying to suck up so it doesn't burn you. So you want to suck it up, take another inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lower your belly to the mat. Uncurl your toes here and then zip up your navel just a little bit. Imagine you're trying to keep like a little pea from squishing down there. Elbows squeeze in. On the next inhale, keeping that navel drawing in, lift the heart. Elbows squeeze together. Exhale, lowering down. You're going to make your way back to downward facing dog. You can come through tabletop or plank, making your way back up into downward facing dog. Deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, let it out. Let's do one more just like that. Big breath in. Open your mouth and let it out. Make your way to the front of the mat. Feet meet the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can come to shins or thighs. Exhale, fold. So completing our first sun salutation A. Inhale, reaching up. So our sun salutation, we begin to fire up. Hands to heart center. Find that lotus mudra. We begin to fire up. We begin to experience that energy starting to percolate within our whole body. So we're going to continue here 2 more times through the sun salutation A. Inhale, reaching up to the sky. Exhale, forward folding down. Inhale, halfway lift. Palms to the earth. Exhale, feet to the back. We'll pause. Take 1 more breath here. We're finding that fire. Exhale, let it come down. Finding your cobra again, or perhaps you're ready for an upward dog. Upward dog, the rule is if you straighten the arms, you lift your knees, so it's really engaged here. And then we'll meet in downward facing dog. Hips move up high towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, soften the shoulders. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, sink the heels. Let's take 1 more breath in here. And then empty it out. Look forward. Feet come to the hands. Halfway lift on an inhale. Bow down, exhale. Inhale, sweep your fingers all the way up towards the sky. Palms to heart center. Lotus mudra. Pause. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Palms to the earth. Feet step back. Knowing that sometimes our fire, exhale, lower, you can skip. Sometimes our fire is fueled by a little more ease, a little more breath. You can always skip our chaturangas, meeting in downward facing dogs, where we'll meet together at the back of the mat. Take an inhale and an exhale. 1 more deep breath in and empty it out. Look forward. Walk, step, or float. Feet come to the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bow. All right, switching it up now to our sun salutation B, starting in chair pose. So sit your hips, just like it sounds, invisible chair. Hands can start at your heart to really get into the legs. So the knees have a tendency to want to shoot forward. Let's try to really bring those kneecaps back. If you're looking down, the knees you should be able to see your toes in front of your knees. And then if your chest is really far forward, start to work on peeling those shoulders back. And then also firing up that navel, drawing it in. Take a couple more breaths here. Hands can stay at the heart. You can find your little lotus mudra, especially if you're resonating with needing to grow out of the muck today. You can also extend your arms, finding a little more length, a little more strength in the side body. Take 1 more breath to really sit back and get strong here. And then with your exhale, we'll fold down. Halfway lift, inhale. Palms towards the earth, feet step back, lowering through your vinyasa, that chaturanga or nataranga. Remembering that our fire today isn't in the doing, it's in why we showed up. Sometimes we need to give our own selves a break, find some compassion. We're going to take the right heel back behind you. Find a 3-legged downward dog. The left heel sinks a little closer to the earth. And then look back. If your right leg is really, really high, I want you to bring it down so you can see your foot. And then begin to turn all 5 toes towards the ground. So even that pinky toe is starting to face straight down. And then from here, see if you can lift the heel and the back of the leg a little higher. Navel draws in. Take an inhale. Slowly, as you exhale, draw the knee toward your nose and step your foot or wiggle or walk it to the center of your hands. Left heel comes to the earth. Hands from the hips, you rise, warrior 1. Sinking into the right knee, sealing the back foot down, and then starting to square your hips. Right hip back, left hip forward. Hands can come to the heart, opening up into lotus. Or perhaps drawing up. You can keep the lotus if that works for your shoulders. You can separate the hands if that helps you to find ease. You can even bring the thumbs back to the back of the neck for that ulterior lotus we took earlier, if you want to go a little deeper in the chest and shoulders. Yogi's choice. Stay grounded in the legs, drawing right hip back, left hip forward. One more breath to lift the torso, lift the chest, lift the chin. As you exhale, unravel to the mat. Optional vinyasa here, stepping right foot to meet the left, taking your vinyasa or not, meeting in downward facing dog. Pause here. Begin to shift your weight into the right foot. Left heel's going to lift up behind you. Lift it up high and then start to look back. Notice if you're taking it super high, bring it down so you can see your foot. And then start to turn your 5 toes to the mat. So we're really getting internal rotation. Start to feel that in the outside of that right hip. Take an inhale, lift up a little higher through the back of that left leg, drawing the navel in to get long and strong. Exhale, knee slowly comes towards your nose as you step the foot between the hands. Right heel comes flat for warrior one. Rise with the hand on the hips. Drawing the right hip forward, left hip back as you keep sinking into your left knee and sealing into that outside edge of your back foot. Take a breath in. Hands come to the heart. Stay for the exhale. You can keep your lotus here at the heart. You can lift it up to the sky. Or again, hands can come wide. You can bend the elbows back, bringing the thumbs towards the nape of the neck. Ground into the earth below. Get your roots strong and lift up towards your proverbial sunshine as you open up the breath, open up the heart. Last breath here. Exhale, release. Hands all the way down towards the mat. We're going to switch it up a little. Come to the ball of the right foot and then just step the right foot to meet your left. So back at the top of the mat, going to give a little break from the chaturangas. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We finish this one off with a chair pose, letting the hips sit nice and low. Inhale, sweep the hands to the heart or to the sky. Stay for an exhale and sink low. On your next inhale, straighten the legs, reach high, upward salute. Exhale, hands come and meet the heart. We'll do one more of those sun salutation beats. So inhale, reach the arms up or leave them at heart center, coming into that chair pose. Exhale, bow forward, fingertips to the earth. Inhale, flat spine, heart long. Exhale, palms to the earth, feet step back, chaturanga or nadaranga, cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog is where you'll meet. Right heel comes high, reaching from the back of the leg. Exhale, right foot between the hands, left heel flat. Inhale, sweep hands to heart or all the way to the sky. Warrior one. Exhale, we're going to keep it going. Exhale, palms come down, one breath, one movement. If you need to come straight to down dog, skip the chaturanga. Otherwise, try to keep the flow moving with your breath, and exhale will take you back to that downward dog. Left heel lifts on your next inhale. Exhale, bring your left foot forward between your hands, right heel to the earth. Inhale, hands come to heart or the sky, warrior one. Exhale, return the hands towards the mat. Left foot comes to meet the right. Again, option to take a flow, finding more fire or finding more ease, meeting in downward dog, or even coming to your knees for child's pose, anytime. Take another breath in and a breath out. Look at your hands. Bring your feet all the way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Finding your chair pose once again. Inhale. This time, if your hands are up, it's all bring them down to the heart center. Just palms flat against one another. We're going to take this into a twist here. So as you inhale, try to get really long. Keep the hips low, but just get long through the crown. As you exhale, just start to twist your torso towards the right. Twist first. Sit maybe a little deeper. And then you start to lean forward. You're trying to hook that left elbow to the outside of your right knee. If that's not working for you, you can take your right hand to your hip, straighten that left arm, and take any part of the hand or arm to leverage on that right leg. So wherever you at, pause, check in on your knees. So there's a tendency for that left knee to stick out. Draw the left knee in line with the right. Navel to spine, get a little longer. Press the crown of the head forward. And then using either that palm to palm, or I like to take a fist with my right hand. You can push that right hand fist into the left hand to twist a little deeper. Take an inhale, getting length. Exhale, deep in the twist. Inhale, stay low in the hips, palms come together, chair pose. Exhale, take it down, forward fold. Walk your feet hip width distance apart. Take the fingers that you'd make a peace sign with. So your index finger and your middle finger, you're going to bring them between your big toe and your second toe, like where you'd wear your flip-flops. And then you're just going to hook around your big toe, ground your big toe into your fingers. Take an inhale and lengthen the heart forward. Keep grounding your toe into your fingers. As you exhale, start to pull down like you're pulling your fingers up. Keep the knees soft. So generous bend in the knees. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. The head, maybe shake yes and no here. And go ahead and slide the hands out from underneath your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Let's find an inhale to come all the way up to standing. Get really tall through the legs. Stretch it up. And then bringing the hands to heart center as you exhale, you're going to sit back into your chair pose. This time we're taking it to the left side. So you're going to inhale for that length as you stay deep in the hips. As you exhale, it's just starting to press into the right hand. It'll help you start to twist to the left. You'll take an inhale here. Sit a little bit deeper as you lean forward. Start to bring that right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Or again, maybe straightening that right arm. Pressing palm to palm. That right knee draws back in line with your left, even if they're hip width distance apart. You want them in the same plane. Pressing maybe the knuckle of your left hand into the right palm. Get a little bit deeper. Inhale for length. Exhale, twist. On your next inhale, come back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Separate your feet a little bit wider. Exhale, just dangle down into your ragdoll. And then just start to find yourself swaying from side to side. Kind of swaying from hip to hip. Letting your upper body release here. And coming back to center. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Let's inhale. Rise all the way up to standing. Reaching your arms high towards the sky. And exhale, bring your hands to heart center. So something that really helps me remind myself to find that fire, that intention to kind of stick with it. Even now, I'm getting rained on out here, right? It's like, okay, I'm already here. I've already committed this time to myself. So I can get really aware when I work on balance. So we're going to work on balance, but using some balance through transition to some more fiery spaces. So starting at the top of your mat, I'm going to find a nice flat space because I've got a little unevenness going on here. So find a space where you can stand first firmly into both feet. So, very important in our practice to calibrate ourselves. True north, find it when we can. So then when we start to come off from that, we have something to hold on to bring us back. So finding that true north, the feet grounded just like the roots we spoke of, the crown lifting, that fire burning from the navel to help keep you uplifted, to help keep you here and engaged. Start to shift the weight into your right foot. Right foot. You'll start to lift your left knee first right in front of you. You're going to lift it in front of you. Try to keep your gaze steady. That will help. Just adapt what you can to come back into that same sensation of your true north. Albeit on a right leg, perhaps a muddy situation, and we're growing like that lotus flower. We're going to transition into airplane pose. Beginning to lean the torso forward, you're kicking your left heel back behind you. So a lot has to happen. We have to be very fired up and engaged and present. The gaze has now moved somewhere on the floor. Keep a micro bend in your standing knee, but really straighten that leg that's in the air. And just like we did in downward dog, turn all 5 toes towards the ground. Hands can support you on the hips if you need that. Otherwise, you're reaching them back. And then you're just, however high your leg is lifting, that's where your torso goes, kind of like a seesaw. So we don't want to break. We want to keep nice and straight here. Take another inhale. All right, as you exhale, begin to bend your standing knee. Bend, bend, bend. Trust, trust, trust. The back toes are going to drop back. Trust that ground is there. Sink into that right knee. We're finding a crescent lunge here. So start with the hands at your heart center. Bend into the right knee. Activate through the back foot. So you're lifting the heel forward, lifting the thigh, squaring the hips. Hands at your heart center. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, begin to press into your left hand. As you press into your left hand, you're going to start to turn towards the right, similar to where we just were, but we're having to stay engaged in those inner thighs. Right hip back, left hip forward, squeeze those inner thighs together. Stay here, inhale. As you exhale, start to lean forward. Bring your left heel to the left elbow to the outside of your right knee. You're going to keep that left elbow there. Right palm comes into the left, and you can press to come deeper. Know that back knee can always come down if you're really struggling for balance. But I invite you today in this fired practice to try on the idea that you're stronger than you believe. So instead of just automatically giving up, to try to fire up. See if you can balance here. Maybe even try opening the arms up, taking the right arm high, left hand towards the ground. Take another breath in and exhale it out. Hands come back to the heart. Inhale, coming all the way back to center. Step into the right foot. Bring your left foot to meet the right. Shake out that right leg. You're feeling the fire in that hip. Maybe you give yourself a nice assist. Kind of like, feels like you're beating yourself up, but it's in a really good way. Yeah? So just kind of like work out of that hip. All right. So now we're going to bring the fire to the other leg. Re-engage ourselves, right? When we're very in it, not only do we have the fire and the strength to go further, but we don't doubt ourselves. We come out of our head. So we're going to start here grounding into the left foot. You're going to start to lift that right knee up in front of you. Stand really strong. Get lifted, fired from the navel. Heart is still open. You're still in your true north here. Albeit you may be a little wobbly, and that's part of it. Don't give up on your quest, right? Be like that lotus. Try to see through the mud. Start to lean forward. We're kicking the right leg back, finding our airplane pose. Right heel back, heart forward. It's rainy and foggy, so probably a little turbulence on my end here. Flying this airplane, inclement weather. Keep a soft bend in that left knee. Turn the right pinky toe to the ground. Glad I can still make myself laugh. Hoping you're laughing with me. If not, please laugh at me. Laughing's really good for the core. Another inhale. And then we're going to slowly begin to bend your left knee and take those right toes to the ground behind you. So we're squaring the hips, firing up here. Really being engaged in our legs, in our navel, in this quest to balance our strength with that uplifted air of ease, right? Take an inhale here. As you exhale, press into the right hand. Start to turn towards the left. Hands are at the heart center. You're really, again, engaging and squeezing those inner thighs together on fire. Right knee can always drop. Start to lean forward. When you're ready, find the hook. Right elbow to left thigh. Palms come together, and then press them actively to open up. Keep engaging through that back leg, navel drawing in. You can keep the hands here, maybe extending the left arm high, the right arm low. Trust yourself. One more breath. I know it's hard, but you've made it through hard things much worse, I promise. Inhale, come all the way up. You're going to step into the left foot. Bring your right foot to meet it. Now you get to give the love to the other side. All right. So coming back to the top of your mat now, feeling that fire we've really worked up into the legs. Go ahead and take your feet a little bit wider than the hips, letting the toes face outward. We're going to find a starfish pose here. So you're going to reach your arm just like it sounds, like a starfish. So the legs and the arms are the points, and then the fifth point's going to be your head. So you really want to press up through the crown of your head. So you're going to take an inhale here, and as you exhale, we're going to bend both knees and find goddess pose. So your feet may be off the mat, it's okay. You're going to do that like 3 more times. So inhale, reaching up and out. As you exhale, sit low. If you know lion's breath, these last 2, let's go ahead and add it. If you don't, watch me and you'll be so inspired to do it. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, reach it up. On the exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Maybe toe heel your feet just a little bit narrower. We're going to take an inhale with the palms together, reach high. And as you exhale, start to bend the knees, coming into a deep squat, perhaps coming all the way into your malasana. So for many of you, your heels might be lifted off the ground. If that's true, I just want you to see if maybe you can walk your feet a little bit wider. Use the elbows as leverage inside of your thighs, hands to the heart. If your hips need to be lifted, that's okay. You're going to feel a little fire in the thighs. Draw the navel in. I want you to bring the awareness to the soles of your feet. Ground into the soles of your feet here. Start that awareness with your roots. Root through the feet. You'll fire up the legs. Turn on that navel point and find yourself lifting a little bit out of the suffering and the heaviness of the hips, right? One more breath. Exhale it out. Bring your hands down to the mat. Inhale, lift the hips. Bring your feet parallel to one another. Stay in a forward fold. You're going to start to shift your weight into your right foot. So maybe the hands move a little closer to the right side. And you're going to take your left heel behind you. Try to, again, keep those toes facing straight down towards the mat. Just see how high you can lift it, folding it in, a little standing splits. And then begin to bend into your right knee, once again trusting that your left toes will meet the mat. And then you're going to bring both hands to the inside of your right foot this time. Really get low into the hips, sink down. And then you can drop that back knee to the ground. Uncurl your back toes. Take your right foot and turn your right toes open towards the right side. And you're going to begin to let that right knee peel away from your body. This is called a winged dragon. So that's kind of like your wing. Should be on the pinky side edge of your right foot. So the work may be a lot already going on here as you sink those hips and pelvis forward and let the knee fall away from the body. Perhaps your work is just staying in the hands and pulling your heart long. You can see if maybe that left elbow comes down, left forearm, maybe the right forearm comes down. And then just check in. Again, we're here to practice. We're practicing for the trials of our lives. We're practicing on a physical realm, dealing with the mud and the muck of our expectations and reactions to our physical experience. So we can learn how to better translate that off the mat. So your work here is just breathing and finding ease. Cleaning up the messes as much as you can to not have to suffer through your experience. Go ahead and bring your hands back to the floor if you've come down further. I want you to shift back towards that left knee. And then just bring your right knee back to meet your left. All right, kind of shake it out. You're going to shift into your right knee. Take your left foot forward. So before we find our lunge, we're going to try to find that standing split, coming into it a little bit different way. So to start, you're going to tuck your right toe and lift your right knee. Walk your hands forward. Maybe walk that right foot forward a few times and just see if you can step down into your left foot as you lift the right. The hip is going to want to open. Let's work on that internal rotation. And as you'll notice, my knee bends a little. So you may bend that standing knee a lot. Try to keep the leg in the air nice and straight. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, walking your hands back, bring the right toes back behind you. And then go ahead and lower your right knees to the ground. Hands are going to both come to the inside of your left foot. Turning the left toes 45 degrees open and letting the left knee peel away from your body. So finding that little wing for your dragon here. Heart is continuing to pull forward as you really dip the pelvis and that right hip towards the mat. Staying here with a nice open heart is a beautiful place to be. Perhaps dropping to the elbows works for you today. We can come there as well. And then just be with yourself. Be with your breath. Be with whatever starts to swirl up. Instead of creating resistance, we just let it be there so we can react less. And just breathe. Go ahead and come back up onto your hands. You're going to shift your weight back into that right knee. You're going to bring your left knee to meet your right. All right. Inhale, come forward into a high plank. And you can do this from the knees, modified, or do it from a regular high plank. We're going to start to take side plank. So if the heels are lifted, start to take your heels towards the left hand's planted right onto the sky. That left knee can also be on the ground supporting you here. And you're lifting. Take another breath. As you exhale, bring the right hand down. Bring your knees down a moment, set your hips to the heels, forehead to the mat, find child's pose. Be humble, be surrendered to whatever just happened on the left side. As you inhale, you're going to come forward again. This time, you'll start to take the heels over towards the right, opening into your side plank. Maybe that right knee is supporting underneath your hip. Either place, notice how you react and try to continue to grow up and out towards your sunshine. One more breath. Exhale back to high plank. Drop both knees and back into your child's pose, forehead to the ground. Taking a moment to breathe here. And then go ahead and shift over to one side and start to come on into a seated space. I'm going to work a little bit more fire, some core before we finish off. Since it's wet and rainy, what better time to go on a boat ride, you know? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take our boat pose. So we'll start, and we're going to do a few different variations of our boats just to have fun here today. Start to walk your hands or your feet back with the hands behind the knees, leaning back. Try to stay nice and tall up through the chest. So you're lifted through the heart, expanded through those collarbones. And then as you lean back, start to lift your feet up off of the ground. So they should have like a little magic spot where they lift off. Know that at any time you can bring your heels down, and that's okay too, as long as you're feeling this, right? Staying engaged. That's all I ask. Stay engaged. So once you're here, there's a tendency to hug ourselves in and hold this in our hip flexors, which already carry so much tension if we sit a lot. So what I want you to do once you've found your nice tall posture is to start coming away from your thighs just a little bit as you lean back. Oh yeah. You should feel that work its way up into like a little bit higher place of your abdomen. And I want you to hold it there. And the knees, the hands can stay supported, but the knees, or you can take the hands forward. Try to relax the shoulders and the face. Really feel your fire. Take another inhale. And exhale it out. Inhale. And as you exhale, cross your legs, sit down. I want you to bring your hands beside your hips and press into the earth and see if you can lift your hips off the ground. So that may be step one, eventually maybe the feet, but we're not worried about that. Just kind of rounding the back and drawing your core in a little more rounded way. And then we're going to come back again into that boat pose that you guys already love so much. I can tell through the phone, through the ether webs, you're like, let's do more boat poses. All right, so find your boat pose, and if you really want to go deeper, you can work with straightening the legs. Again, you can take those hands away, experiment with even going further or closer to your thighs. See where you feel that, what activates, what invites you to engage with it, to breathe with it. One more breath wherever you are. And the exhale, as you come to cross the legs, cross the opposite shin in front, so your awkward way. Hands once again come by the hips, and you're going to press into the hands, round yourself to lift the hips off the mat, and then settle them back down. And then go ahead and come back once again into our boat pose. And this time we're going to take it down into a canoe. So a canoe, you slowly start to straighten your legs all the way, so your lower back comes to the ground. Just your shoulders and your heels are lifted. You can look at your belly button and imagine you're drawing it down. You're tucking your tailbone down. Take one more breath in. As you exhale, lower it all down. Take the arms up above the head. Find a full body stretch. Feeling yourself nice and alive here. Go ahead and bring your hands by the hips, soles of the feet to the ground, and curl your hips here. Let your tailbone get nice and long. You're going to take your right ankle across your left knee. Go ahead and let it open up, just like a figure four. Threading the needle as you draw that left knee in. The right hand comes behind the right knee to the back of your left thigh, grasping there. Softening the shoulders to the mat. Try to keep those right toes, that right foot flexed and active. And the more you draw in that left knee and that right ankle, you're feeling that right knee move away from your body. And then I want you to notice the subtle shift as you move just slightly towards your left hip. And then taking a few breaths. When you meet your edge, meeting it with compassion, staying dedicated to the practice of returning with each breath. Starting to feel a little bit of the sunshine coming out here, a little less of the sprinkles. I think we're doing our job. Yeah. Go ahead and release that left foot back to the ground. And then go ahead and uncross that right foot. You're going to take just a little bit different here. I want you to straighten your left leg onto the mat. Keep the right knee bent. And then you're just going to let that right knee open up towards the right side like a half butterfly, or almost like you're doing a tree pose on your mat. Both hands can be on the low belly. I'm just kind of letting gravity pull the knee to the side. And taking your knee back up towards the sky. Draw the knee up and towards your chest. And you're going to take your knee all the way across the body, over towards the left side. The right arm reaches out towards the right side. can settle in here. If you want to go deeper, this is only an option. One of my favorites if you're looking for something a little more challenging but still restorative. You can bend your left knee, the leg that's straight. Take your right arm to your left foot and then reopen. So you're pulling that heel in towards the glutes. A really nice stretch in the front of the left hip flexor and quad. Go ahead and release if you have that bind. Draw the right knee back up into center, into the chest. Hug it in. And then release the sole of your right foot to the ground. Bring your left knee up into your chest. Turn it open. Bring your left ankle to cross over the right knee. Taking your thread the needle on this side as you draw that right knee in, bringing the hands behind the right thigh, perhaps in front of the right shin. Relax both shoulders into the ground. Keep the left toes flexed and active. And as you draw in that right knee, left ankle, feeling the left knee moving gently away from the body. Bringing the weight towards the right hip. Just seeing how that sensation shifts and just meeting yourself. We're not here to do anything. It's all a practice of self-discovery, of exploration. So we have the power to choose what lights us up. Again, to release. Go ahead and unwind the left foot to the floor. Straighten that right knee and then just let your left knee open up to the side for that kind of half butterfly, little laying down tree pose. Hands can be at the low belly. Softening and relaxing to let gravity support you here. And begin to let the left knee come back towards the sky. Draw the left knee up and in towards your chest. Get it nice and nestled close. And then take it across the body towards the right side. Reaching your left arm straight out into that T. Left hand to the right foot, grabbing onto the foot as you reopen into this cat pulling its tail. Binded variation. Go ahead and release the bind if you have it. Draw the left knee back to center. This time you're going to bring the right knee up to meet your left. Kind of rock side to side. Give your lower back a massage. We'll take a happy baby, feet to the sky, knees nestled in by the hips. One last time to give that low back a nice massage here. And bring your feet together, knees together, and straighten your feet straight up to the sky just for a moment for a final inversion. You can roll out your feet, your wrists, your ankles, your toes. And then we're going to take this lowering into Shavasana really mindfully and get a little warm one more time in the core. So the hands can either be right next to you, or if you want to give a little patting, make it a little easier on yourself, you can bring your hands right underneath the lower back. And we're going to start with the right leg. You're going to keep your left leg straight up to the sky, and the right leg is going to start to slowly lower. And you're really pushing the right leg long as you lower it, lowering it really slowly, pushing it long, pushing it long, pushing it long as it drops. Long, 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 long. And right before it hits the ground, one more little time to push it a little longer, and then let the right heel come to the ground. Same thing we're going to do with the left hand. Your choice to keep the hands under your back for this one. It's a little easier now that we don't have both feet up. You can press through that left heel and then start to press it down, move it down. And as you're moving it down, you're continuing to press it long, 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 long through the heel, long through the heel, long through the heel. As you drop it, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing right before it hits the ground, and then just let it soften to the ground. So now we're nice and surrendered in that lower body. Take the arms out wide. Walk your shoulder blades underneath you so they're nice and flat on the ground. So we should be really open and prepared to surrender here. Just check into your breath. This idea of what it is that sparks us, of following our lights to guide our way, just like the lotus through the mud. You know, it really starts right here, simply in this stillness. In this uninterrupted experience that you have with yourself. And I invite you to try it on, a real simple exercise. If your intention was to show up, try not to check out just because we don't have something engaging us physically, to stay here. Something simple we can use to engage the mind is a mantra. My favorite here is, as I inhale, I am breathing in. As I exhale, I am breathing out. And that simple spark to stay present to your breath creates the space to move away from those things that may be anxiety-provoking, or fear-inducing, or making us not feel capable of seeing that light. And that's why we have this practice. It's a practice of breath. We never perfect it. We come back again and again. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. And in those moments when you do slip away, know that that's okay. Don't get swept into the full storm of giving up. Remember, come back. You can say, I am thinking, and now I come back to the breath. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. If you can just stay in this simple experience for these next few minutes, you'll be incredibly surprised by the space you'll feel between those harrowing, overwhelming thoughts that can sometimes shield us from being present. I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And the word mantra in Sanskrit just means mind protection. You know, we all chant some sort of mantra in our minds all day long. We need to be really careful what those mantras are, because we will bring fuel to the fire of whatever we choose to hold close. Something as simple as remembering to breathe. I am breathing in, I am breathing out, can protect your mind from having the space to carry all of those other non-life-giving mantras. Finishing your last breath with mantra here. And then just begin to wake back up. Wake up your fingers and your toes. Begin to open up your eyes, perhaps. Turn the corners of your mouth up. Just feel joy for being here, for getting through, for making it through this practice. As perfect or imperfect as it was, you did it. You made it. You're here. Stretch it out. Fingers to toes, stretching that joy in your whole being. Feeling that fire, that spark percolating, inspiring you. For the rest of this sun day, we're bringing the sunshine out. Knees to chest, roll to your favorite side. In just a moment to feel grounded here, to feel safe and supported, and giving yourself whatever blessing you need to know that you have this capacity to be like the seed of a lotus, that no matter how dark or dim or grim or muddy life can get, you have that opportunity to choose to align with the light so that someday you'll blossom through all of it. Press up into a comfortable seat. And the palms together at the heart, and we'll finish with that lotus mudra, with the fingers apart, right at the heart center. Our heart and our energetic chakra system is our balance point. Our lower three chakras are very grounded in our I amness. From our heart, we begin to connect ourselves, not only to others, but to the world and the realms and the perceptions that are outside of our limited view, right? So that we can trust, our crown chakra, our third eye. Our third eye is our light. We can trust that light, that wisdom that we cultivate here, just like the lotus, to take us through these moments of muddiness, of darkness. I invite you to take one last mantra of Om to close our practice and celebrating our connectedness. Here virtually. We'll take a cleansing breath first. In through the nose. And an exhale through the mouth. Inhale to Om. Palms come together. Lift your thumbs to your third eye. One last acknowledgement of your light, of that spark that brought you here. Acknowledging the light in yourself and that same light in all of others that are here, near, and far. Namaste. All right.